Get going. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to our Monday night Zoom trainings. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amber Davis, and I am one of the leaders on our team. And so tonight we're going to be talking about talking about locals and online events. So, like I said, we're recording this. I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel so that we'll be able to share this with anybody in the future that maybe comes to you, and maybe you want to rewatch it, or maybe somebody can't hop on and they're going to be able to hop on it later. So, one of the things, I'm always kind of all over the place in these Zoom trainings, but I'm gonna kind of take you through my journey, what we kind of know now about locals, and then I'll at the very end I will answer any questions that any of you guys might have. So make sure you use that chat function. You should see it kind of down on your screen. So one of the things that I really enjoyed that attracted me to Le-Vel when I decided that I was going to become a brand promoter and kind of see where this thing could take us. I like the fact that it was not about planning parties or having to ask people to, sorry, my nose itches, ask people to have parties for you. And so that was super appealing to me. It was appealing to me that, everything could be built on phone, computer, all throughout the day, any time of day, any time of night, all of those things. And so whenever the idea of locals kind of started presenting itself, I was like, I thought this was the whole point of this business, that we don't have to do parties. And so I want to go ahead and just address that part of it. A local is not your typical, what you're thinking about when you think about hosting a party, or because there's not really any shopping that's involved. And so, do you have to have locals to grow and expand your business? No. If you have locals, will your business and your team probably grow and expand and, experience growth? Absolutely. I think that, they definitely have their time and place. If you're not doing them, then it's definitely something that you want to consider doing. So we're going to be talking about all avenues of, that word: local, online events, Thrive After Fives, living room locals, all of those things. So I had been with the company for almost a year. So back in the day, when the company was brand new and we were just getting started, locals were really, they were really big. I went to my first local, let's see, I'm trying to think. I went to my first local when I was probably 2 or 3 months into the business. So Maria Dillard was coming to Houston. There was a huge event in spring, which was like an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And I went and I took a brand new promoter, brand spanking new promoter. I think she was one of the first 2 or 3 people that actually joined me as a promoter. And my upline did not come. She was not here. She did not, she didn't tell me that I should go to this event. I had subscribed to the Le-Vel Facebook fan page. I'd subscribed to the events, noticed that there was one in my area, decided I wanted to go, and I took somebody with me. And so we went. I had just hit 4K at the time, so it was probably June. I'd probably been in the company 3 months. And we went, and there were people. Susan Kaufman was there. That was the first time I ever met her. She led the VIP Fast Start call tonight. But there were all kinds of leaders in the room. Spring Graham, Starla Scribner, they had all hit, I think they had all hit 40K, maybe even 80K at that time, because Scotty McClatchy was there. He was, he had just started, and he'd gone 40K within a couple of months. And so there were all these people that were there that were just doing amazing things with the business. And so I remember one of my biggest takeaways, I actually still think about it, and I still talk to people about it all the time, was Susan Kaufman was there. She got up, she shared her story, and she talked about Mary Kay, and that she remembered, she went to a Mary Kay convention, and it was in like Cowboy Stadium. And she remembered like sitting way, way up high, and like they're, all like the top leaders were like sitting down on like the 50-yard line. And she remembered looking around and thinking, man, how great would it have been to have gotten in on Mary Kay, like in the first few years, in the first 5 to 10 years, because look at where it has become over the last 50, 60 years. And so when she was sharing her story about Le-Vel and Thrive and what the Thrive experience had done for her, she compared this moment in time with Le-Vel as if it's getting in at the very beginning of Mary Kay. And I remember that really resonated with me because my aunt's mom, she sold Mary Kay when I was growing up. I think she drove a pink Cadillac. I remember asking questions about, pink Cadillac. She saw them around. But I didn't really, I never really understood, network marketing or anything like, I didn't really know what Mary Kay was. I remember my aunt, and when I say my aunt's mom, like this isn't my grandma, this is my uncle, who is my dad's brother, his wife, her mom. So I didn't know her that well. But I remember my other aunt, she had signed up my aunt, and, we'd had like a makeover party or something like that, like at our house. And, I grew up having kind of Mary Kay makeup around. And so that really resonated with me because I thought, wow, what if this is the beginning of, what if Le-Vel were to grow to be the size of Mary Kay? Like, where would I be? What if when I was, 85 years old, it was like the Le-Vel had just grown to this like global phenomenon, and our team was kind of the beginning pieces of that. And so that really resonated with me. It really stuck with me. It still sticks with me. I still think about that today. The promoter that I took with me, like I said, I was 4K. I think she had just hit VIP 800. She was super fired up to like go hit her car bonus. And so, it just was like so inspiring to be in a room of possibility. And so that's kind of the first thing that a Le-Vel local does, is it brings people that are maybe like new into the business, or maybe you're wanting to present the business to them. A local is an amazing place to invite them, to bring them, so that they can see what the Thrive experience is all about. And, that is going to translate way more than text message, a 3-way call, a corporate call. Not those things are all very, very, very important. But if you can get to a local, there's something super powerful about seeing people in a room, hearing the stories of what the Thrive experience is doing for real people that you get to see, that you physically get to see, and then the opportunity that they're earning, that they're achieving. So hold on one second. I want to make sure everyone is muted. Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. Perfect. So I should be back. So yeah, so that's kind of my first experience with a local. My second experience with a local was when I hosted one myself. So I'm going to kind of take you through all of my experiences with locals. And so, back in those days, that's when they really kind of talked about that, you needed a 200K to be in attendance. And, you should probably wait until you're at least 12K to put one on or whatever. And the reason that, that those were kind of the, like the guidelines is because they were, we want to make sure that everybody is medically compliant, that there's not information that's being put out there or said by people that aren't, in the know with what's kind of with what's allowed to be said, what should be said. We don't want anybody to get in trouble. We don't want anybody to, say things that aren't correct. And we definitely don't want to make false claims so that people can't, because false claims really can open you up to, liability and lawsuits and the FDA and all that stuff. So we, there's reason that they wanted to, that was kind of how it was when it first got started. So I hit 12K in November of 2014, 7 months after I had started as a brand promoter. And I was 12K for a few months. And I really wanted, I listened to a call with Jason Camper. He's one of our CEOs, and he talked a lot about owning your hometown and really, focusing on what's in your backyard. Are you really talking to your personal friends, your personal connections, the people that you know the best? And at that time, most of my promoters were not in the Katy, Houston area. Most of my promoters were, I had one in Austin, Corpus Christi, Dallas. Like, I was not being a good steward of really, you know, owning the Katy, Houston area. And that again, things that resonate with you, those are the things that motivate you and inspire you to change, right? And so that really motivated me to really take a look at myself and what I was really doing because you can go 200K you know, in your hometown. You really can. There are several leaders all over this company that, they're 200K and they live in 500, 600, 1,000, population, small towns. And so that really struck a chord with me. And so I thought, what am I not doing that other big leaders are? Because here's something that I really believe that I hope you take to heart. Somebody once said, if you can get to 12K, you can get to 200K. And that's so true. If you can get to 12K, you've got everything that it takes to get to 200K. And so one of the things that I really challenge myself, that I hope that you have felt challenged with as well, if you want to be a 40K, an 80K, a 200K, you have to start thinking like one, and you have to start acting like one. I like to be real, keep it real. What you see is what you get. But there's also some truth in the statement of fake it till you make it. And so if you want to be a 40K, 80K, 200K, 12K, you have to start doing the things that those 200K leaders are doing. And so don't ever expect to get to be an 80K, a 200K if you're not willing to do the things that it takes to be a 200K. Because I'm going to tell you, when you hit a rank, you don't all of a sudden you don't hit 12K and have it all figured out. You don't know how to do the perfect three-way call. You don't hit 40K and you get some secret email from the company that's like, okay, you're 40K now. You should know all of these things and you should be executing all of these things super amazing. Same with 80K and 200K. You go to bed one night a certain volume and you wake up the next morning a different volume. Nothing magically changed while you were asleep. I wish that it happened like that, but it doesn't. And so if you want to be a 200K, it doesn't matter what your rank is. Start acting like a 200K. Start doing the things that a 200K does. Start doing the things that an 80K does. Start doing the things that a 40K does. And so locals, that was definitely one of the things I wasn't doing, because I wasn't doing anything really in my hometown. And so I decided, February, I think it was late February, maybe early March, might have been March 3rd, somewhere in there. It was basically a year after I had signed up to be a brand promoter. I decided I was going to host my first local. Y'all, I called the restaurant and found the room. I picked the date. Yes, Jen Ellis, my direct upline, did come down and have one with me. But that was it. I mean, y'all know, Mario Dillard is after that, Tony Stradman's after that, Paul Gravette's after that. The three of them never have been hey, let's do a local with you. And so, find the person that signed up, you signed up with, and decide y'all are going to do something together, or find the people that are in your hometown. Maybe your upline is not around. Maybe they're in a different state and they can't just, come and do your first local with you. You be the leader. And so that's what I did. I decided I was not doing locals. That was probably something that was missing in my business. Decided that we were going to have one. I think we got it up on the Facebook fan page. There were 11 people that showed up. 7 of them were not associated with me and our team at all. And which was fine, and I will tell you, my very first, one of my my two first local promoters. I think Kim Sauser was there. Jill Smyer was there. She hid in the back. She didn't want to be tagged because she wasn't sure yet, if she was going to do this business. And so, but that's where we started. We started small. And I will tell you, we did that first one in March. And then we committed to having one every single month. And I will tell you by June, so that was like end of February, early March, we started having them very consistently, very regularly. Like you showed up. If you were a promoter on our team, you showed up, you brought somebody. And by June, we had 75 people in a room. I remember we took a picture and we had like 4 or 5 auto bonus earners. We went from 12K. So, we started 2015 as a 12K team. Within 5 months, we were an 80K team. I think locals had a huge part in that. And so that is definitely something that you've got to be asking yourself. And so I wanted to tell you kind of the transition of how I got introduced to locals, because now we have all kinds of ways that you can have a local. You can do an online local. You can do an online event, create an event, get your promoters on your team, inviting people to it, go live. If it's, that's a really super easy way that you don't even ever have to leave your home. Like I said, we started super small, there were 11 people in that room. And again, 7 of them weren't even on our team. Like I didn't even know who they were, but there was a Katy local and they decided to come. And so, but you've got to start somewhere. So maybe it's a living room local, so we're going to go over what a living room local is. Maybe it's a Thrive After 5, or maybe it's a big old grand local. So the point of an event is to generate interest and expose the Thrive experience to people. You want to show what the Thrive experience is doing for you, and you want to present the opportunity of, being a customer, being a promoter, thriving for free, all of those things. So if you are wanting to, and so many of us are friends, right, with people that have some kind of business. Right now I've been invited to a jewelry party, an online jewelry party. A couple of months ago, I hosted an online party for my friend that sells Norwex, and so she did an amazing job. And so what I'm getting at is, be a student. If you want to be an awesome online event person, like I do not have this mastered at all. I personally, if I'm going to do something online, I like to go live, and I like to share 15 minutes of the Thrive experience and answer questions. Those have kind of been what I have gotten, used to doing, comfortable doing. Hopefully I'm getting better at doing them. But, maybe you want to host an online Thrive party. Be a student of these events that you get added to. How do they kick it off? How do they do prizes? How do they do, how do you do, how do they do it? How do they run it? Ask the person that hosted the party, hey, how successful was this party? Did you have a lot of people buy the jewelry? Did you have a lot of people, I don't know, ask them how it went. What were the things you felt like were good? What are the things that you thought weren't good? Be a student, and you'll get a good flow of how you would want to host an online party. Hosting an online party for your customers, that's a super easy way for your customers to invite their network over to a Thrive party, and maybe have it last, a whole week or whatever, however they do it. I mean, like the online jewelry party that I've been invited to, she asked me, she reached out to me last week. I said, sure, add me to it. The girl has been posting, things that are on sale, things that are on, her favorite pieces. They've been doing little trickle posts. And then tonight is when the party launched. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do this. I know we've all been invited to these kinds of parties. Like, get in there, look and see how they do it. Let's create our own. If you maybe you even have experience doing that, create a Word document, share it with our team page. You know, we're here to learn from each other. We're stronger together because we all bring something different to the table. So that would be kind of your online areas, you know, your online one-day event, or maybe an online party, you know, and something that you could host for one of your customers to potentially get them to thrive for free. So then let's talk about living room locals. So a living room local is a great place to start if you maybe your upline isn't close, you know, but you really want to grow your business and you really want to see really want to see things starting to move. So what is a living room local? I actually really love living room locals. You know, it's a group of, and Julie Robinette, Courtney Bird, they are awesome at these living room locals. Maggie, I know that they have great ideas. I almost wanted to do this as a video in our team page because I wanted them to drop their suggestions. So I might do a post in our team page where you can kind of share your experience with living room locals and things that you've done. But Kara Ward, she's another one. So Julie Robinette, Kara Ward, some ideas that they've done that I really like is that they have hosted like a salad in a jar party. And they invited all of their friends over, and they let them know, like, we're going to be talking about salad, you know, we're going to be making salad in a jar. We're going to be talking about Thrive. We're going to talk about clean eating and getting our diets back together or whatever. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to ambush or surprise somebody. Like, you invited them over to drink wine. Surprise, here's a presentation about Thrive. Like, you don't want that. That's not good. That is real life spamming your friends. But so a living room local is exactly what it sounds like, having people over to your living room to talk about the Thrive experience. And, you know, a lot of times people will do, you know, they have like a Thrive shake bar, or, you know, with all the different flavors that, you know, people can try, or Boost, you know, when Boost came out. Now we have all the different Activate flavors. I mean, you can do like, you know, now you can do a pro bar, like sampling, you know, and you can have them out on, you could do like a little taste testing and things like that. There's so many ways that you can make living room locals super fun and super casual. But the main idea is that you want to invite a group of people over, you know, if it's 1, if it's 5, if it's 35, awesome. But you basically just want to have them over. Here's the setup that I like when it comes to a living room local. I like to, you know, thank everybody for coming. You know, we're going to be talking about the Thrive experience. Here's how I got introduced to Thrive. And then the person who maybe is hosting the event, you know, I invite them to come up and, or no, let me take it back. Kick off the event, welcome everybody, make sure everybody has something to eat, something to drink. We're going to watch just a short video to kind of, to kick us off, to introduce us to why we're all here. You know, what is the Thrive experience? And then if you can, I like to show the video on the website. So that's just like a great 4-minute introduction to what is the Thrive experience. And then I like to get up there, share what the Thrive experience has done for me, like just the experience, you know, what the experience has done for me. And then I invite the person that is up there, I invite them to share their Thrive experience and what the product has done for them. And if you have several people that are in the room that are thriving, like have everyone stand up, share what, you know, why they wanted to start the Thrive experience, you know, what they've experienced, how long it's taken them. They don't have to share longer than a couple of minutes. And then at the end, if you are, you know, if you want somebody to close out the event, guys, we live in an amazing time of modern technology where you can FaceTime in your upline. You know, if you want somebody else to talk about the business, you know, FaceTime in your upline. I've done this with Tanya Gallardo several times. Like, she is in California. And so what we do is she kicks off the event. She sends me a text. I've done this with Kara Ward. Yeah, I've done this with pretty much anybody that's out of state, even, you know, if you're not even in the same town. You just get them on the phone, and then it's like me, you bring them into, you know, and you can get several people that way. You can get your direct upline, you can get their upline, you can get a 200K. You can get anybody to come in and kind of close the event for you. And I like to do, when I'm FaceTiming somebody, I share my story. I share the opportunity. I make sure I talk about thriving for free. I make sure I talk about the car bonus. I make sure, and then I answer it, you know, I open it up for Q&A, you know, question and answer. And that's it. That's the event. I usually sign off, and then the person that's there, they kind of ask them, so what are you thinking, or even the person that's closing the event for you can ask, go around the room. I mean, Tanya has literally picked up her iPad and like circled the room so that I can introduce myself. It's as if I'm sitting right there. So there's really no excuses as to why you can't have somebody that's been doing this longer than you come on and give you that support that you need and give you that validation. So start small. If you start getting those living room locals, you start getting good at them, take it to a Thrive After 5. So what's a Thrive After 5? A Thrive After 5 is kind of an extension of a living room local. Like maybe it's got a little bit more people, maybe 15, 25, 30, more than you feel comfortable actually having to your house. But again, like we like to try to find like free rooms that are at like restaurants and different things like that, and keep it super casual, make it a happy hour, Thrive After 5, like it's after 5 o'clock. So, but it's really the same premise, it's picking a date, picking a location, and inviting the heck out of people. You want your team to show up, you want prospects to show up, you want customers to come, you want customers to bring their customers. You want people to come so that they can hear these Thrive experience stories. A Thrive After 5, I might have like 4 to 5 speakers kind of lined up. Again, super casual. You want everybody to kind of touch on different things. So, the agenda is a little bit different, not different, but just maybe a little bit more extensive. Like maybe you want to highlight people that have actually hit VIP 800, VIP 1600, raise your hand and then explain what that is. Raise your hand if you've ever hit the car bonus, and explain what that is. You want to be able to present what the Thrive experience is doing, and then you also want to show real life experiences of the success that is happening in this business. And so I promise you, if you can get a prospect to a living room local or a Thrive After 5, I can almost guarantee you they will place an order, because those stories, hearing them and actually seeing somebody that tears up and is so grateful for what the Thrive experience is doing for them, like that does something that a phone call and an online event will just never do. And then a big local, they can range. A big local usually definitely involves a 200K. Sometimes Paul Gravett is there. You might have a Le-Vel millionaire there. We've kind of, as a company, gotten a little bit away from these big locals. We've had Paul come to Houston a couple of times. But, for the most part, you really see a lot of these smaller locals, these smaller Thrive After 5s, and that is what has been just the most effective. And the reason that is because, there's that intimacy and there's that realness there. And so if that's something that you are really, that's lacking in your business, I challenge you, like, just get started somewhere. It doesn't matter if one person shows up or if 100 people show up. The point is that you did it, and you're going to continue to do it, because just like, Jill Smyer, she hid in the back of my very first local. Look at her now. She went on to hit 200K. And so it doesn't matter who's in the room. The point is that I stepped up and decided I want my business to look a certain way. I know that I'm not doing locals. I know that if I want to grow my hometown and my area, I've got to take some ownership of that. I have to take some control of that. And, that's where it is. Y'all, I do living room locals all the time. Like, if I'm not all the time, that's a lie. But here's when I do them. If I'm talking to 3 or 4 people in the area and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so I've got 3 different people that are all interested in the Thrive experience. Hey, are you free on Thursday night? Could you come over? I know we've been talking about Thrive. I'd really like to just sit down with you and have like a little bit more of a one-on-one conversation. I might invite a friend or 2 over that have been asking me the same questions. Does Thursday night work for you? And then I invite all of them over, and that's bam, we're in a living room local. And so, it's as casual or as formal as you want it to be. Find your style. I've talked to people that are like, I really want to have like a brunch. Have a brunch. Like, this is your business. Your style. Where you have fun and where you feel comfortable is where you will do it. But I also want to encourage you, get to the place where you don't feel comfortable. Link arms with some people, find, and it might be, maybe you don't, Kara Ward, again, I'm going to go back to Kara. She, for a while there, she just kind of found other Le-Vel leaders that were in the area. And she reached out to them and said, I want to do a local event. Would you want to do it with me? Like, find thrivers and just get it done. Like, don't worry about if they're on your team or if they're not on your team. I mean, if you follow Cindy DeRossi and Jamie Lindbergh, like, they're not even on the same, like, they have completely different uplines. Like, I don't even think they're on the same side of the company at all. Not that they're sides, but hopefully you know what I mean. But they have become like best friends, and they do all their events together. And guess what? It doesn't benefit. Cindy is not under Jamie. Jamie is not under Cindy. Yes, cupcake, chips, and salsa, like, they're completely different personalities. You've got, this is your business. Again, don't wait. I did not wait for Jen Ellis to come to me and say, Amber, I really think you should do a local. I think that's why your business is not, taking off the way you want it to. No, I looked and I saw teams that are taking off. They are doing locals. I am not taking off. I need to do a local. And then I figured out how to do it, and then we just started doing it. So, this is a no excuse business. So the only excuses are the ones that you make and the ones that control you. But you got to decide that you control those excuses. You're the one that creates them. So that means that you have the power to also disengage them and do something about it. So yeah, so how do you build for them? So, if you're in the Houston area, we're going to start having these on the second Wednesday of every month. We've got our next one coming up in September 12th. I know actually Jen Ellis, my upline, she's going to be in San Angelo this week doing a local. And so how do you make sure that locals are successful? The biggest thing is that you commit to going. Maybe you commit to speaking, and you really commit to inviting people, and that you're not going to show up without somebody that isn't either A, customer, or B, that you want them to either be a customer or be a promoter. It's always fun to have prizes, gifts. We used to give away cash. The person that brought the most non-thrivers, 3 or more, got $50 or something like that. Figure out what works for you. But the important thing is that you do it. But the thing too that you want to do is that you want to make sure that you're calling people, that you're personally texting them. Maria used to always give me this example all the time. And not just me, I mean, Team Thrive Nation, like all of us. But she uses this example a lot, is that if if her neighbor down the street is having a barbecue and she gets a Facebook invite, she may or may not go. But if her friend texts her and says, hey, I don't know if you saw that invitation, but we're having a barbecue on Saturday, and we'd really love for you and Ralph and the kids to come. We really hope to see you there. Do you think you can make it? She says 9 times out of 10, she's way more responsive to a personal text message invitation than just a blanket, invite on Facebook. And so that's the thing that you really got to commit to, make a list, decide, I'm not going to that local without somebody. If you've got 3 or 4 people that have told you yes, like, go for 4 or 5 more, because I will tell you from experience, day of, people will back out, they will cancel on you, a kid gets sick, something always happens. So it's a numbers game. You hear Paul Gravett talk about that all the time. It's a numbers game. Decide, I'm going to invite 5 people on Monday. I'm going to invite 5 people on Tuesday. I'm going to invite 5 people on Wednesday. I'm going to invite 5 people on Thursday. I'm going to invite 5 people on Friday, and make sure that you're following up with them and letting them know it's really important for you, and maybe it's somebody that you're scared to talk to and say, hey, listen, I know that I've approached you about Thrive before and you haven't been interested, but there's just some reason that I really want you to be a part of it. Will you come with me to this thing on Saturday? Or there's an event in 2 weeks from now. If you hate everything that you hear, I promise you I will never talk to you about Thrive again. But I don't want you to make a decision without really knowing what it's all about. And this will be a great place to just not just hear what I've been trying to tell you, but what it really is all about. Does that sound like a fair deal? Like, if you come, I promise not to talk to you about it again if you don't like what you hear and you don't want to thrive with me after and like, fall on the sword. Be okay with it. They're like, no, I'm still not gonna go. Okay, fine. That probably means don't talk to them really about Thrive anymore. But be bold. If you can get people to an event, I promise you, 9 times out of 10, they will leave wanting to know more about the Thrive experience. So we've got about 2.5 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for any questions that anybody might have. Yeah, I'll go to the chat. Y'all go to the chat if you have any questions. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. All right. Doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So, all right. Well, I hope this has been super informative about what to do when it comes to online events. Be a good student. If you're in a party, you probably are in some kind of online party of some product. Notice the things you like, the things you don't like, the things that seem to get a lot of interaction. Let's create our own little outline. Share it with our team. Share it with your upline. I'd love to look at one. If you have an outline of how you think an online party should go, I would love to look at it. Host online events, living room locals, Thrive After Fives, big locals. Don't forget, those get you points for the leadership retreat. So I hope you'll think about having one. You'll find some people to have one with. If you have any specific questions about anything that we talked about, you're always free to send me a message or, get with your upline. We have amazing leaders on this team. We have so many 40Ks and 80Ks and 200Ks. Like, you can find a leader that knows how to help you. So don't be afraid to reach out. Thanks you guys so much for joining us in this, the Zoom's officially over. All right. I'll see y'all later.